What is up? We are back. The Blob Boys have emerged from their cave, their hiatus, and we are back in action. Fellas, how are we feeling? It feels good to be recording again. How we doing?
I'm doing great. Got some of that the season's bad taste out of my mouth. It's just I'm excited for bigger and better things. Crazy to be recording again, man, because it feels like now with the transfer portal and everything that college basketball is a year-round sport.
No question. Koopy Coop.
Yeah, it feels great to be here. I don't know what you're talking about with the season being over. It's baseball season. It literally just started. College baseball is
Mute
what,
him.
2 months
Mute
old
him.
now.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna get the jail bars out for him.
So
I know.
that's what I've been
5 seconds
watching
in.
on, man.
Right.
That's what's up. So we've been on break here, Kenny, kind of enjoying it a little bit. This was your first year full time with the Roll Blob. What have you been up to on your break? Maybe a quick little talk about now that you've kind of unpacked, our first year kind of, on Roll Blob 2.0, if you will. How's your break been?
I mean, the break's been nice because you get to sit back and like kind of look at Xavier didn't have the best season. Obviously, I don't think that anybody out there would say that. I would say that for what they had, they did well. It was just they put together a group of guys that were obviously not very experienced, and you see what happened in the transfer portal. We have 10 guys leave. I mean, really 9. The one guy I'd never heard of before. What was it, Ryan something? Was it Ryan?
Reed Ducharme.
No. The guy that wasn't actually on the team.
Do we talk about
Oh,
He
Duncan?
left
Xavier?
for yeah. What's his name?
Logan
talking-
Duncan.
Yeah.
Right. Logan. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I had never even heard that name before, and I saw somebody say he was in the transfer portal. I was like, "What? What? I've been following the team all year. I've watched every game. I've been to practices. I've never seen this guy."
I mean, he left the program I feel like weeks into practice.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. But I mean, best of luck to him. But yeah. So looking back on the season, it was what it was. But I think as a group, what we were able to do throughout the season was very. It was very positive. Like, obviously doing things in Cintas, really getting to interact with the teams or with the team, getting to interact with the fans a lot during the games and things like that. Like, I really had a lot of fun doing it, and it just really felt good to be like a part of Xavier again.
Yeah, it was special, man. It was cool seeing you around the program. I mean, that was one of my favorite things was just like following you in Cintas. And it would just be like, so I'm right behind you, and you see like, that's Kenny Freeze. Like, that, oh my God, it's Kenny Freeze. Like, Kenny, what's up? Like, you going up to the woods, and just like everyone be like, oh my God, Kenny. Like, seeing you at Dana's, like, that was really fun. And I'm sure that was a really cool experience. I mean, being around the program for the first time, and, you hate it when I age you, but
Yeah,
it's
right.
been dang near a decade, right? Like,
more than that.
since
Yeah,
like
it's been
being
fun.
around. And like, you went in, and I really was impressed. I mean, it's kind of funny because once you jumped on, it was just boom, 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 boom. So it was kind of nice when the season ended to kind of unpack it.
Yeah.
Because it was just crazy, Kenny. Like, for people at home, like, I thought you were going to come on and then just, like, be the former player who jumps on every once in a while, whatever. I mean, just balls to the wall, man. I mean, like, everything you did with Streamlabs. I mean, like, you were in the trenches, dude. Like, it was just really cool to see. We had no idea what to expect when you jumped on, but it was insane. I mean, what a fun year it was, man. Obviously, the season was hard, and I think that was a little bit grueling, to be real with you. But, like, from the Blob perspective, and then the community and the Discord and everything that happened, like, it was such a fun year.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun being able to like take this on as a project. The one thing that really was interesting to me though was we did a game earlier in the year, and then we did the Marquette game, for senior night. And when we first went there, and you're talking about how people were like, "Oh, like there's Kenny Freeze, blah blah blah, whatever," but it seemed like the next time that we went, they were talking to all three of us, like, "Oh, roll blob, roll," like it's like it was like we talked about it like a switch flipped, and all of a sudden it was just like that's the Roll Blob podcast, guys, not just like there's those two guys walking around with
Kenny and the boys.
Like it was
Kenny and his
like,
5'10" bodyguards.
Right, like I don't know if did you guys feel that too?
Yeah, it felt like there was much more traction the second time for sure. And like, definitely no question about that. And just as the season went on, I mean, everything picked up. The Discord picked up and the engagement picked up. And it was just such a fun season, especially, too, for this being like the first year we did it like this. Like, I really feel like next year is going to be insane. But
Oh,
it was
yeah.
an awesome year.
Yeah, I felt it to an extent for sure. A few people just saying what's up or whatever. It used to be like I'd be with someone I know, and then they would turn to someone and be like, "Oh, have you heard of Roll Blob?" Be like, "No chance." And usually I would like answer for them, be like, "Yeah, there's no chance. My name's Coop," and I introduce myself. But then, um, I was Doc Rock. Shout out Doc Rock. He was standing next to this older woman and said like, "Hey, this is Coop. Have you heard of Roll Blob?" She's like, "Yeah, the one with Kenny Freese on it." And then some people be like, "Oh yeah, the podcast with Matt Stainbrook."
Yeah,
So
right.
I don't know when he. I guess they are either mistaking me or Cap for Matt Stainbrook.
It has to be.
Surely
Either way, it's a win for either of us, Coop.
it's not the
It's a
big
win for
white
either of us
guy,
for sure. And then
but
and he was on Little Fox. Shouted out Roll Bob on Little Fox.
Little Fox and Kenny bought us zebra cakes.
Yeah.
He worked his ass
He
off.
did. We sat courtside, boys. Like it was a crazy year.
Yeah. And I mean, now that
And then the streams too.
Oh, dude, the away game streams, which is something that we're gonna keep up with, because that was probably the most fun. I mean, going to the games and watching the home games is like, there's a lot of emotion that's in it for me, just because I want to see the team win, and going back and getting to like see Coach Miller, see Dante,
The printer.
yeah, see Mario, yeah, the printer, all that stuff.
Maybe the turkey next year.
The turkey, dude, that was
Yo.
I, we
Gobble
can't-
gobble.
I tweeted it out, just like on a quick side note. I tweeted it out. Like Twitter, I'm sorry, X is such an amazing app, man.
It's so
You go
fun.
from Coach Miller sending out a picture of a turkey to that turkey becoming Xavier's third unofficial mascot. Like
It's
within like
wild.
yeah, like he puts the picture out, and there's an XU turkey account, and I just see he just tweets out gobble gobble, and then it's just like boom, he's got like 400 followers or something. And I was like,
Dude,
this
my
is
DMs were like, "How'd you already make that account?" I'm like, "Dude, it's not me, bro." Like,
I want to know who it is, because
Oh.
I feel like that person, that whoever that is, might be getting to Blobby at some point.
but you're so right though. Like, how funny is it from Twitter? Like the dichotomy of like the sky is falling, like Claude's transferring, everyone's freaking out to
Yeah.
Sean. Oh my God, Sean Miller tweeted a picture of a freaking turkey. Let's
Right.
go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
it's
I
just
love it.
crazy. Like you said, like I think I don't know what came first, the turkey or the egg, or the
Yeah.
whatever the saying is, Dez or the
you.
turkey, whatever it is. But so much was happening, like Des
Turkey.
Claude transferring, Ryan Conwell comes in that same day, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think
And
so.
it's
Yeah.
I
like
mean, within
Crazy.
it felt like 45 minutes of each other.
I think
Right.
it was, and
The day went from like a 1 to an 8 to like a 50.
Right.
yeah, I was on my
Like it was
way
like
to
Des Claude, oh my God, turkey, Conwell. Like it was just, oh my freaking God.
and I'm like, with all due respect to Dez and Conwell, like the turkey was getting like 75% of the attention. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, cool transfer. Okay, that sucks about Dez. This turkey's funny though.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. But that's the
It's-
beauty.
it
That's
was
the
like that
beauty of
Vince
Xavier
McMahon
Twitter
meme.
in general.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just beautiful day. Turkey sandwich with Conwell and Claude bread.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, so I guess like Coop was saying that now the season's just beginning, baseball, whatever. I mean, Cap, I don't know about you, but for me, the only sport that's worth watching right now is the NHL.
I completely respect that. I have been watching some Najee Marshall Pelicans action. I'm the only thing I'm even kind of following is the NBA playoff, even kind of.
Yeah.
Unless I go to Coop's house and it's 15-14 Coastal over George Mason.
And then you're locked.
just
then you're locked in.
Absolutely. That's the only time I ever watch college baseball.
Tuna
To be
in
with
the
you boys,
microwave, locked into some college baseball.
that's what I'm talking about, man. Extra mayo, baby.
Yeah.
That's just a class act move, going to someone else's house, nuking some tuna. That'll make you some friends for the people at home if you want a pro tip.
Right. Yeah. So
It's not all basketball around here.
right. We have to have at least one baseball reference every month.
Baseball
per-
reference, great
per
website.
contract.
God, kill me.
Well, Xavier's baseball team is 21-20 right now. They had a absolutely grueling non-conference schedule. So if they take care of business in the Big East,
How
then
many
the
games do they
postseason could be
play?
fun. I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Fake fan.
They're 21-20, and they're about to go to conference play.
No, they're in conference. Well, it's not like there's non-conference games mixed in with conference games
Oh,
in
okay.
baseball,
So,
so it's
okay.
not like set. But I'm saying if they take care of business with their Big East slate, then they're in a good spot. So
I mean, the people in the stands of the baseball games must be soaring right now because Final 2% is giving out free tickets with memberships, right?
Hey, yo.
I think that's a thing.
Good plug. I will say, Kenny, random plug, by the way, too. The Big East tournament is in Cincinnati for baseball. It's actually really, really fun.
Prasco Park, it's fun as shit. It's
When
like
is
free
that?
food, free parking. It's up in Mason. Great ballpark.
When?
Great ball.
That's
a great
May.
question. Sometime in the summer. We'll link you. And
let me know because that's
coming
because
up. It's in
I
May.
can tell you one thing for sure. Like, live baseball is infinitely better than watching baseball on TV. And if you're going to throw an X on the jersey, I'm in. I can do that.
And like Paul and Adam are there, and it's like they've got like games and free food, and
I'm in.
You'll get your money's worth.
I'm in for
eat
that.
like 6 pizzas.
Yeah.
It starts
Eat like
May
6 pizzas.
22nd.
I know we're cutting right now.
Perfect.
May
It's a
22nd to
really
May
beautiful
25th.
park.
We can make that
It's
work.
really, really cool.
We can make that work.
We could make an event out of it, honestly. Like I said, we were talking, we could kind of transition into some summer plans here. Like that could be a good content opportunity. You know, we could even do like a live podcast from Prasco or something like that. Like I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, we need to figure out who we need to talk to do that. But it would be.
So, do you want to talk off-season plans real quick?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I feel like that kind of just fell into our laps there, but we got that.
We didn't even need Coop that time.
Right.
Power of baseball, man.
Right. America's pastime. So we got that. We got TBT. Obviously, if you wanted to give a quick update on TBT.
Yeah, I mean, so stuff is starting to pick up. It's kind of with TBT. It's kind of like pretty much once the NCAA tournament is over is when people start coming out of the woodworks on TBT. But yeah, that's starting to pick up. I feel confident that Xavier will have a team. If you're wondering at home, there'll be a lot more updates as we go here. You know, it's one of those things that it's kind of like the transfer portal. Like when it starts, it moves quick.
I was going to say,
it's kind of like
I kind of feel like it's just like no news, and
then just
like TBT's here, we're playing.
Yeah, when you get your first commitment, you'll have like 10 commitments in like 3 weeks. Like it's an onslaught. It's kind of like the transfer portal, but yeah, that's going to be starting up and going to be really fun. And I think especially having you around, and I think that'll be a fun thing to cover, and that's going to be so much fun. Like I just love that as like a summer like get together for the fan base and for the players and everything. So it's going to be really
and
fun.
we've talked about it. We talked about it last year with like Keith Jackson, CJ. Two was there. It was like who's who of Xavier basketball. And like getting all those guys back together. I remember last year we all kind of talked about it. Like Diedrich Finn was there. Like it was a big deal. So like getting all those guys back together was kind of like an official reunion for Xavier basketball players. And it's cool, man, because we're all over the place, different states. People are playing in different countries. You don't get to see these guys a lot. It's hard to stay connected. So for us, it was nice to get back together and kind of have those generations of Xavier basketball players hanging out and just, being able to enjoy the game, enjoy Dana's, whatever it is. That was a good time.
And I would love for it to stay that way. And I think the more years it goes on, the more it catches traction and the more it's like just a solidified thing. Yeah. Like, bro, how cool was it? Like Samaje hitting that Elam Ender and like 2 Holloways on the court. Like that moment was so cool, and it just creates moments like last year, like Trey and JP got inducted into the Xavier Hall of Fame by Sean Miller like at practice. And like, it just creates so many opportunities that wouldn't be there otherwise,
I agree 100%. And it's cool for the fans too, because obviously it's a small, it's not a big price to get in. It's not like it's hard to get tickets or whatever, but they're coming to these games and, they're getting to watch these ex-Xavier basketball players and just kind of seeing, like
it's Xavier.
What could have been.
Beat me to it, damn it.
What'd I say?
You said ex-Xavier basketball players.
Oh, jeez, come on, man.
Killing me.
Xavier basketball players.
Former.
Okay.
Former Xavier basketball.
I was like, you went there. Come on, man.
But getting to see all that kind of like those generations mixed together on a team and just kind of like that what if universe type thing. That's really fun, but then also just having all of us around and being able to like mingle with the fans and stuff. I think it's a cool experience for not only the players but the fans as well.
And then too, being a college basketball fan, like come that time of the year, you are just starving for anything.
Yep.
And then especially too, it's like, I have JP and Trey and Samaje, and Karam Cantor, gas me up, like let's go.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part might be Dana's. Like, there's always one night during TBT where Dana's is just jumping.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite part of TBT, the Dana's night. And there's always one night where it's like the first Friday or Saturday night when the players are in town. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, wall to wall, like, so much fun.
Yeah. So we got that coming up. We're definitely going to try and do some more behind the scenes stuff this year. Last year it was such like a, with us kind of just starting up together and trying to find our footing and stuff. I think that it was, and then also on top of that, how difficult TBT is to get together for you on just like the GM side and all that stuff. Like that's, it's crazy. So, but I think that this year, kind of trying to balance that workout between multiple people and then also us having more of a flow. I think that it's going to be much easier for us to get that like behind the scenes content, really do something fun with the team. And I think that we got some good content coming your way from that perspective.
Might put the intern to work.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Strap a GoPro to me. So yeah, we got that, and then we've also got college football coming out. We got two things about college football. We've got the college football video game coming out, which Kenny will be all over. I think we have a lot of plans with that.
Yep.
Coop and I are getting like our announcing dynamic ready to go to announce some virtual esports.
If anybody, so I know that, I don't know the exact date that the game's coming out, but just like anybody that's listening to this, if you want to DM me on Twitter, X, DM me if you have interest in being a part of a like live dynasty league, whatever. We're going to be putting that together whenever the game comes out. Hoping to try and get like a video out every week of me actually playing the game against whoever's in the league or whatever. We'll have to figure out the logistics of all of that, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, Kenny could be the next sketch of like streaming. Dude, you know, like the "What's up, brother" guy.
Cancel.
We should also market that.
I love that guy. I might see if we can get him in the league.
Hey, you never know, man. Shoot your shot. I just watched him on Theo Vaughn's podcast earlier today. It was hilarious.
Have you watched him before that?
I've seen just like Instagram reels of him and stuff. He's
one of the
funny
funniest
guy.
People. He may be the funniest like new person on YouTube right now. That dude,
that's fair,
is hysterical. Like have you ever heard of him, Cap?
No.
Dude, he plays like I think he plays like Rainbow Six a lot, and he plays Madden, just a bunch of different games, and he just like his one-liners and the things that he does, he's so funny, man. Special teams, special plays, special players. But anyway, so yeah, we got that going, which is going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. The college football was huge. The college football game was huge when I was in college. So like I can remember like me, Dante, Joe Hughes, CJ, Andrew Taylor, like we all had a big league going with all of us, and then there was like 3 or 4 managers that played with us. It was a big deal. Like we would play through the years, and we would move the weeks forward like every 3 days, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm really excited for that game to come out because it's going to bring back a lot of memories, and also it's just a really fun game to play.
Oh yeah.
We should really it would be fun to get a mixture of like maybe a couple former players, some fans, like XYZ. Like,
I mean, we'll figure out who's going to be in it. I don't know how that's going to work, but I would be willing to bet that like Cheeks would probably play because I know he's still really big into playing video games, and I don't know if he's going to continue doing he does a 2K league, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, like, if he's doing something with that, like, I would love to collab with him a little. I've talked with him briefly about, doing some type of collabs where we own a team and kind of draft players and stuff like that, which would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of content opportunities, just like synergy through different Xavier basketball players, and then obviously we have some plans to do interviews with older players, guys from like 70s, 80s, 90s. Yep. Like I'm really excited to sink my teeth back into this because it's been literally like when I stopped, I was just like I had to plug all this stuff back in today because I was out of it for a minute. I needed a break from
me too, man. I feel you. And it's like it's crazy because we talk about this and it's like I don't know anyone in my life like that is a bigger Xavier basketball junkie than me, other than now maybe like Ahmad, maybe a couple people. But like it's been crazy like how little sports content I've digested since the Blob ended. Yeah. Like year 4 of the Blob, year 4 of TBT, this season was honestly kind of exhausting. Like, you know it, Kenny. It's like the season ends and then it's full on TBT season. The blob itself is a monster, like I'm sure you know, and it can be a lot. Like it just takes up a huge piece of your pie. You know what I
Is
mean?
the blob a monster technically?
That's a good question. I mean, is Grimace a monster? I would assume so.
He's bad guy, but not a bad guy.
Yeah, like I feel like his ethnicity is monster, but he's like a good one.
It's like Mike Wazowski. He's like a monster, but like nice.
His genus is a monster.
Yeah. His
had me at genus. Wait, have we talked about if the big red and the blue blob created Grimace? Have we talked about that before?
Yeah, that's why That's why I said Davion McKnight transferred to Xavier because like he was at Western Kentucky. The mascot's like Big Red,
right?
And then he saw the blue blob and was like, "This is familiar."
Right.
So, dude, can you imagine if we got like Mickey D's like NIL deal and we got like all three of them in like the same commercial or something?
God, man. I couldn't handle that.
Can you imagine getting to go from a red mascot to a blue mascot? How much better the blue mascot is than the red mascot? I mean,
so much better. Not even close. Not even
close.
So and then we're talking about football.
Yeah.
Club football.
Jeez, that guy.
Chain gang.
That almost got shoved under the rug.
I know, and that's going to be awesome. Like, I'm really excited to support that project. So we have a lot of things that I think are going to be fun during the off season. If people have ideas, that's why the Discord's there. Like, throw ideas at us. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's there. And that's what I think is fun about this show is like it's a show for the people by the people kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, I love when we get ideas that we get to run with from people. So I think it's gonna be a fun off season, boys. But I will be real with you. It was nice to have a little bit of time off.
We all three together were like, let's do. Last week we were like, let's get something going, and then it was just like, I mean, I know that I was the first one to say it, but I'm sure you guys were feeling it too. It was like, let's get one more week, man. Like this is once we start going, we want to keep going. You know what I mean? Like once the
object motion stays in
Pandora's
motion.
box, we got to keep rolling.
But then too, like if we can start jumping into it, there's so much that's happened, and that's the thing about the transfer portal is it's like it's just an onslaught. I mean, it's been crazy. So, Kenny, if we want to, we can actually start jumping in nuts and bolts here.
Yeah.
So, who was our first commitment?
I believe that was Marcus Foster.
That was Marcus Foster because that was a little while ago, and then the other three came pretty quickly.
Pause.
So,
that guy.
So we're right back in mid-season form.
We're back.
But yeah, so Coop and I before the show just to like make sure that we had our facts right. We were going through and talking about the years that people have left that are coming in. So we have Ryan Conwell, going to be a junior. He's got 2 years left. Marcus Foster, this is his last year. We got Maddox, this is his last year. Hugley, he's got 2 years left. And then that's it. That's all.
Yeah, those are all.
That's all. For now, until we get done with the podcast.
I was going to, that's fine. Yeah.
As of the recording, those are the current transfers that we have in.
So, I
mean, Crease hasn't committed yet.
Exactly. We're still waiting on him. He's been being looked at by 4 or 5 different schools. I think
he's getting in shape, though.
I think McNeese is number 1 on his list right now.
Okay, interesting.
But so I was going through, and I've been trying to, just as these recruits come in, and we're getting, more information about them. I've been trying to look and just like every single one of these players in the transfer portal has these like player highlights. Have you guys looked at any of these? They're just, I think it's actually a YouTube channel where they're all in the same thing. And like,
I've seen film on all of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, from my perspective, I have like, just a little bit of a scouting report on them and like where I see them kind of fitting in. So like we got Marcus Foster. He seems like just a little bit of a do everything kind of guy. He has the ability to be a great shooter, and I'm excited to see that kind of like. I'm excited to see how Coach Miller is able to incorporate that and give him the confidence that he needs to become the shooter that he was 2 years ago. Because I know that last year he dropped off a little bit, but from what I've heard, like he's a shooter. You know what I mean? Like that's his MO, and he didn't have a great year last year shooting wise, but I think that as far as like he's able to do a little bit of everything. He gets to the paint. He can finish over guys, finish through guys, and he's able to shoot the three. I also got to give a shout out to my boy Jeremy Groh. He is the associate head coach at Furman. He was a GA when I was at Xavier. great dude. Didn't give him the easiest time though. He was,
Great hair, by the way.
Yeah, he was one of the people that was in charge of keeping track of me. So
Ooh,
That's a tough job.
Full time job.
That's a tough
But
job.
yeah, so obviously that was the first one, and then I believe
And then he
next one-
rebounds. Did you see how many 7.5 rebounds a game
right,
at the guard spot?
big
Crazy.
rebounder. Yeah, and I mean he's a bigger body, so I think that he's going to bring some of that toughness for sure.
Yeah.
The next guy we got Hugley.
Ooh,
Joe
yeah, I'm
Hugley.
excited about Hugley.
Yeah, I mean,
Forward from Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma. Oklahoma via Pitt, yeah.
Yeah, I think 3 years at Pitt, 1 year at Oklahoma with some injuries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
so. I mean, from what I saw, it looks like he's. I mean, I can't even say it anymore. He finishes through, guys. I don't know. You guys just leave me alone.
Wow,
I mean,
good for
is
him,
it-
man. Good
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
No, but he's
2024.
right. I think that he's going to be a good inside presence. He's strong. I think that he's kind of going to be like a 6th, 7th man. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, you're probably
Hard
right.
to say. I mean, the front
would
court's
say-
loaded.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that we're pretty loaded there, but I think that he's also going to give us the option to go with like him at the 4, maybe go a little bit smaller, be quicker.
Is he like a big body kind of big?
Yeah, I mean, from what it looked
He's
like,
like a legit 6'10", it looks like.
He's 6'10", yeah.
he's a big body, but I
I
feel
like this
he's-
tweet. He said, best front court in the country.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that he can kind of play in and out though. Like I think he's a
Okay.
little bit. It's going to be tough until I actually get to see him play because obviously I didn't watch a lot of Oklahoma basketball last year, but he
Well,
seems
so
like,
could you, but they didn't let you.
Exactly. You guys saw the film.
Yeah.
But I think that he's a streaky 3-point shooter. I think that he's able to make those shots. So it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Miller is able to take Fremantle, Hunter, Hugley, Dalen Swain kind of can move into
Yeah.
that 4 position a little bit when
Yeah.
they're playing small. So I'm excited to see that. If I'm being honest with you, when I was watching him play, it didn't look like he was 6'10". He was playing outside a little bit more than I anticipated. So when
Really?
you said he was 6'10", that was a little bit of a shock to me, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I mean, it's nice to have guys with that kind of size on the team because that's obviously something that we were missing last year, and to see Coach Miller kind of filling that gap is nice.
Yeah.
And then the big 2 transfer guys, Maddox and Conwell. I mean, like these 2 guys,
Dude.
the way that they shoot the ball, like Maddox, man, I watch some of the highlights. He's shooting the ball like true.
He's filthy.
He's shooting the ball from the logo, true logo threes.
He's filthy.
I mean,
He might be the guy I'm most excited about initially.
yeah. I mean, well, I don't know if I couldn't tell you from the transfers who I'm more excited about is from Maddox or Conwell because I think that they're both just like. Conwell being a lefty too is like just another one of those like little things that just like really throws them together as a good 1-2 punch. Having them come down the wings in transition and like you kind of have to think about that. Like, am I guarding the lefty or am I guarding the righty? Like that's not something that seems like a big deal, but when when guys are having to switch in transition and you don't really know exactly which guy you're guarding, like. That's something that can be difficult for defenses. And the fact that they're both good shooters, they can both get to the basket and finish in crafty ways. And then, McKnight running the show. Like those 3 guys in the backcourt is going to be a lot of fun to watch, man.
Oh my goodness! And then
Shooting
like
everywhere.
Yeah.
and you have Trey Green off the bench too. I assume off the bench. I mean, the offense is going to be.
He can shoot a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
Shoot, like you said, Kenny. Like I'm looking forward to like transition fast breaks, like spread out. Like oh my gosh, bro.
yeah.
Shooting
Right.
everywhere.
It's gonna
When I
be-
was watching Maddox's game, Maddox has some filth to his shit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like he's got some sauce, man. Like he seems like he can create a shot.
Yep.
I thought he was the most impressive like shot creator that I was watching of the highlight film.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that you can say, okay, go get a bucket. Maybe more than maybe the other guys would be better in catch and shoot situations. And again, we'll see. It's hard to know with transfers until we see him on the floor. Like let's get 5 games and see how we really feel. But I think he's got some juice to his game.
Well, yeah, I mean, and both of them are just, I think I already said it, but I want to reiterate it. They're both elite 3-point shooters. Like,
Right.
I don't think you're going to see a guy from this team come out and, have a chance to break the 3-point record like we did last year watching Olivari do it. But they're both equal. I mean, they're equal to Quincy in their shooting ability. I think both of them are. And then
Wow.
it's it's just like they both shot damn near 40% from three, which is an
on a
absurd
lot of
number.
attempts.
A lot
Yeah.
of it, yeah, right. I think it was like I don't know if I was maybe it was like a very specific type of shot, but it was something like 25% of their shots were coming from three, and they were shooting 38 plus 40-ish% from three, which is, I mean, I'm just really excited to see these guys come together and like Coach Miller having a whole summer of having guys that have basketball experience and bringing these guys together. It's going to be so much fun to watch what he's able to do on offense with the way that they play fast and seeing them have the freedom to like be able to shoot the ball in transition and just keep teams on their toes. Like, dude, I'm over the moon about
Yeah,
the
and you
transfer portal is crazy.
talk about experience too. Like all of those guys, the youngest player would be Conwell, and he's going to be a junior.
Junior
So it'll be his third college season. You have McKnight, who he'll be a senior, correct?
senior, yeah.
Is that
This
yeah?
is his
Yeah.
last year.
Then you have Jerome Hunter back, Dalen Swain, of course, and Trey Green are going to be the two young guys returning.
Right.
And then Jonathan Powell, the freshman, and then Zach Freemantle, who's been here since the Bush administration. So it's going to be like the experience is going to be like second to none in the Big East as far as like starters and how many games they've played.
Dude,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
Zach Freemantle it probably has more games under his belt than like all of DePaul, honestly.
Probably.
I mean, I made a video. Do you remember Coop the Charleston game against UConn? I think it was the year before UConn came into the Big East. This is how long Freeman's been at.
Oh, the Xavier versus UConn game, yeah.
Double overtime, Kenny. It was an epic game in a preseason tournament. Xavier UConn, double overtime. It was in Charleston for a preseason tournament. And I remember Zach Freemantle was a freshman, had like a huge like game-saving block. This was in like 2018.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been here before. UConn was in the Big East, dude.
Yeah.
He has been here for freaking ever, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. But anyway, two things stuck out to me. It seemed like Conwell was especially highly recruited. Like it seemed like he was like one of the crown jewels of the transfer portal, which I thought was impressive.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like getting 4 transfers of that caliber is pretty dang impressive.
Well,
Like,
I was gonna bring up that was something I was gonna bring up. So, in my, just trying to gather information about the different guys, one of the things that came up was Maddox on field 68 talking like he actually did his announcement he was coming to Xavier, and one of the things I love about those old live videos is you can watch the live stream chat, and like Jerome Hunter fan club's in there, and he's like, he's talking shit to people, whatever. But you have all these people that are like, ain't no way that Maddox is too good to go to Xavier. Like, there's no, because it's UK fans, they're like, he's coming to UK, blah blah blah. And so then he says, I'm coming to Xavier, and all the fans immediately are just like, he's not really not that good. Like, let's move on to some bigger and better prospects like Conwell, and then like you see this now, like right after that happens, Conwell also goes to Xavier, and it's just like UK, man. Like, I have so much respect for the program, but like they have to understand that it's not this destination that it once was. Like, you have a new coach who maybe he can turn things around, whatever, or turn things around, get them back to where they were, whatever. But it's just not what it used to be. And like the Big East is such a crazy basketball conference now that automatically teams are going to have. There's going to be a draw to come play in the Big East, and people can Xavier doesn't have national recognition, whatever it is, blah blah blah. Like, that's the stuff that our rival fans say. But like, they all know that's not true. Like, Xavier's been a mainstay in the national media since 2007, 2006. Like, everybody knows. Anybody who's a college basketball fan knows about Xavier.
Oh yeah,
because it was such a huge story when Xavier was a mid-major and they're making these big runs into the tournament and stuff. Everybody knows Xavier. So like, it's funny to me the way that these like blue blood fans are just like, Xavier's not even a good basketball school. It's like, okay.
Oh, dude, Kentucky fans, like, I grew up watching Kentucky basketball. My family's from the hollers of Hazard, Kentucky, and
Go Cayets.
go Cayets. I asked my cousin, about when Coach Cal left to Arkansas, and he said, He told me, don't worry about who's running the Kentucky basketball program. Worry about who's running this country. I'm like, oh, okay.
All
So
right.
that's their main focus. Like my Facebook with my family
Mm.
down at Hazard, they're not even posting about Kentucky basketball.
Yeah.
It's just not on their mind right now. They probably are unaware of most of the happenings, and then come November they'll learn the players' names for the first time or whatever. But
Are you talking about the election or Kentucky's players?
both,
Okay,
both.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Little bit of everything.
No, but
No,
like,
one's
but that
very
was,
blue, one's not.
yeah, but that was funny to me, man. I had just like getting obviously knowing what the future is now for them, and just like seeing them just like everybody trashing Xavier, and then it's just like, oh, he committed. He was trash anyway. Let's go after Conwell now, and then Conwell commits, and you're just like, well, what do you have to say about that? Like Xavier's team.
Yeah, exactly.
Xavier's team went from being bottom 3 or 4 in the Big East to being top 10 in the country in a 3-week span.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to see where we land here because I completely agree. It was looking really, really rough, especially when Des Claude left. I think that there was a lot of like pundits being like, well, there goes like Xavier's like preseason top 25, whatever. And I don't want to touch on this very long, but I did kind of just want to come to like Claude's defense real quick. Like the fans that were like happy that Claude left, I'm really, really upset with. I don't understand that viewpoint at all.
Yeah.
I just don't get that even kind of. Whatever, for multiple reasons. We don't need to talk about that. But I will say on the positive side, the portal prophet, that is Sean Miller.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. And then I would just love to have been a fly on the wall for, like, the turkey tweet. Like, do you think Sean, like, texted, like, Mario or somebody and was like, all right, so I found this turkey in my backyard. Like, can I tweet this? Like, I just would have loved it if there was some kind of process there. Like, I would love to see how that played out.
It's like he took the photo in October and has had it in his drafts.
Yeah. We're gonna save this for the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the world's burning, I'm going to tweet out this picture of this turkey.
When there's a distraction, some comedic relief needed.
Right.
I mean,
I just love the fact that I like to think that it was actually Sean that tweeted that. I'm going to tweet a picture of a turkey today. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to do.
I feel
I'm
like
Sean Miller. I do what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, so just to touch on what you said real quick with Dez, I think that you're in a weird position with Dez where he's a great player, right? And I think that he's gonna go somewhere. He's gonna go to a school and he's gonna make a lot of money. And I think that he's gonna be a pro, right? I think he's gonna play in the NBA. He's a very good player. I don't know, especially with the guys that have come in now. I don't know where they all fit into the Xavier team with Dez on the team, right? So I think that there had to have been a conversation a long time ago, and when I say a long time ago, I'm talking about in portal terms, so 2 weeks. But there had to have been a conversation between the Xavier staff and Dez for them to be going out and looking for these players.
It seems like I think what you're saying is like they were recruiting as if Dez was leaving,
right?
Based on how we recruited.
Right.
It seems like
And
seems like we recruited as if we were going to lose Dez.
Right. And I think that there is some truth to the fact that I think Xavier can be just as good, if not better, with Dez leaving. I think that there is some truth to that.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's
no question.
I don't think that it's a good thing that he left, because I think that Xavier could probably have the same ceiling that they do now with Dez on the team. I just don't think that it's as big of a net negative as a lot of people are thinking it is. Just because, with the way that Coach Miller, with the way that his offense goes, playing fast, having really good 3-point shooters is going to be something that benefits his offense. I don't know. I would have loved to see Dez come back. I'm not super sad that he left.
I think that's a fair take. I think, like you said, I think he's a super talented player. I love the way he played. But at the same time, though, we don't know how these players are going to mesh. And it's like, we just don't know it. We don't know what it's going to look like until we see the product on the court. Right. We've had so many Xavier teams before where I'm like, this team on paper is like dominant, and then we're a little underwhelming. And I've had teams coming into a season where we're like, okay, we could be pretty good, and then we're like really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't remember like the James Farr, Jalen Reynolds team that, Coop, the 2-seed team. I thought that team was going to be good, like 5 to 8 seed, and then they're just like top 10 in the country, like rip snorting teams. So we still don't know what it's going to be. And I think maybe one thing we can jump into now is kind of rotations and kind of what we see going on here, because holy crap, did we get an influx of talent. And you think about like a Davion McKnight, you know, a Trey Green, a Dalen Swain, like how do all these guys mesh? Maybe we could do like a mock starting lineup, maybe like a mock top 7, top 8, because I could see this being like hockey transitions, man. We've got dudes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be such a polar opposite from this year where we're playing 7 guys. You know, like now you're looking at like how do we let all these players eat? You know, that's like
there's only one ball.
Right. So it's like, I mean, I think just like a clear starting 5 right now, if everybody's healthy, is Davion, Maddox, Conwell, Jerome Hunter, Fremantle. Now, when does Jerome Hunter come back? When does Jerome Hunter come back? I don't know. But, like, I think that's
hard to say.
But I think that there's also going to be some, like, curveball lineups that you have in there with Dalen.
Dalen, for sure.
Dalen playing
the 4.
Dude. I think Dalen playing the 4 is going to be a really interesting lineup, just because with all the shooters, really using him for his speed at the 4, setting pick and pops, doing that stuff, making people switch if there is a 4-man guarding him. I think that's going to be super interesting. But, I mean, I think that's something that people – one of the things that's really a big question mark for me this year, coming into this year, is going to be, is Fremantle still the Big East, all Big East talent that he was 2 years ago?
We haven't seen him in forever.
Right. And I
he
mean,
was still
I can tell
honorable mention.
Right.
This year.
Was he?
Yeah, like he was still like on the All Big East honorable mention team or something like that, and didn't
even something like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was like
really weird.
But I mean, like,
people not watching the game.
I think the one thing that I know for sure is that with Miller, Fremantle's sitting out for all this time, right? If Miller has faith and plans that he's coming back, he's still coaching him with that in mind, right? So he's still keeping him as close to game ready as he can be, you know, obviously with any type of injuries, rehab, stuff like that in mind. But like, I don't feel like there's going to be any major drop off in his performance. So if you're talking about adding these 4 guys, you're really adding 2 people to the starting lineup with, you know, Davion coming back with another full summer of working with Miller. And
I think Davion's going to be really good this year.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, I think that he's going to be, I don't want to be, you know, get crazy here, but I think that he's going to be up there in Xavier lore for point guards. I really do think he's going to have.
He's going to be really good.
Year. And, you know, it might not show it on paper, like big numbers, things like that, but I think his ability to really control a game and, you know, distribute to all these different scorers that we're going to have, I think that he's going to be a huge piece of the puzzle next year.
He might be the most important player on the team coming into the season, if I'm being honest with you.
I agree. I mean,
and so I think there's a bunch of question marks.
Yeah, he brings that, like, that experience of playing Xavier basketball. You know what I mean? Like, even with Jerome and Fremantle, they haven't played in a year. But he was on the court last year. He went through probably one of Xavier's worst season in 30, 40 years. Like he had to make it through that, keep his head on straight. He obviously went through some personal stuff that made it even more difficult, and he came out of that season a better player than he was when he started. So like
he was so consistent. And then too, we've seen it so many times, especially with guard transfers. Like if they get 2 seasons, that second season is a pretty dang big jump. Yep. I thought he had a really good first season. I thought he was fantastic this year. 100%. So I think he could be really, really good. I think there's some major questions. So one, I mean, I know that Conwell's fantastic. It would not shock me at all if Dalen makes a push to play top 5 minutes on this team.
Yeah.
Dalen is just a Swiss Army knife. He can do so much. And he's got that ceiling that sometimes guys like that, like once it clicks, they just ascend like crazy. Like it would not shock me at all if by like halfway through the season, Dalen's playing starter minutes. But anyway, I think the big question mark for me is, like you said, Kenny, are Zach and Jerome the same player? Yeah. I think that's your only big question, because you got to think Trey's making a big leap. You got to think Dalen's making a big leap. Davion played last year, and he's going to be only better. And then we're bringing in a lot of experience and shooting and all that kind of fun stuff. And then what I love about Conwell, too, played on a winning team. I mean, Indiana State deserved to be in the NCAA tournament. I mean, he played on a winner last year, which I'm really excited about. But if Jerome and Zach are what they were before, this team is going to be. I would say this is like a bona fide top 20, probably a top 15ish team.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying with Dalen because, I mean, you guys know I've been saying it all year. Like, I think Dalen probably has the highest ceiling of anybody on the court. Just like he's got the prototype, man. Like he's got the prototype body.
He has everything.
If he can really hone in on the things that he needs to make himself not only one better as a player, but two just like make the team better. I think you're 100% right. I just don't know where the minutes are going to come from. You know what I mean? Like it's hard right now when you're looking at this lineup because you got to figure that if Jerome and Fremantle are healthy, you got to figure that Hugley's getting minutes. You got to figure that Foster's getting minutes. So it's like, where does Dalen fit into all that outside of like those, curveball lineups where they're trying to throw teams off? I mean, it's a good problem to have. It's the exact opposite of the problem that we had last year. So it's like, managing that, making sure that players are staying in the game, being able to like get the feel of the game and all that stuff without just, you don't want to be subbing every 3 minutes just to get players in a rotation. So it's like, how does that work? And I would love to see him get a lot of minutes. I'm just nervous about that a little bit.
I definitely feel that. I will say for Dalen, and I could also see Jerome sliding to the 5, which I think could be a really interesting lineup. Jerome's like got great size. If he can put some bulk on, which I think he's starting to do, I think you could slide Jerome to the 5 for a depth lineup. Dalen can definitely play the 4, in my opinion. But I'll say on the wing, there's no one on this roster with the athleticism and length and defensive capability that Dalen has. It's not even close. No. Yeah. Like, if you need to stop somebody, if we're playing a team that you need to stop a wing or a guard, it's Dalen, and it's not even a question.
Well, and I think he can guard 1 through 4, too.
Oh, like, I think dude, elite defender. Yeah. And then, the person, I'm not really worried about Dalen. I think he's easily going to be able to carve out 15, 25 minutes a game just from his versatility. The one that worries me is Trey Green. Like, when I saw all these players coming in, I was like, where the heck does Trey Green get minutes? And I think Trey Green's a really good player.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guards, man.
Well, it's tough because you have, like...
He's not playing with Davion.
Right. Oh, no. But think about with, like, just when I was playing there, Brad Redford, right? Like, for him being, like, the ultimate shooter, like, just one of the greatest shooters probably ever at Xavier. Maybe the best player or the best shooter ever at Xavier. Like you actually have guys that made more threes, whatever, but like he wasn't playing
just pure
consistent
shooting
minutes. You know what I mean? Right. So like the way that he was used when I was at Xavier was like, okay, he's gonna come in, he's gonna play like 7-8 minutes, and he's gonna get up as many threes as possible in those 7 or 8 minutes. Now you transition that to where Trey is right now, and you have 2 guys on the wings that are already elite level shooters. So you don't need to give up that little bit of defense or whatever it is to get him to come in and get as many shots up because he's going to be like your microwave guy or whatever. You already have 2 guys that are shooting the ball at a 40% clip. So like you're right. I wonder where I wonder where his minutes come from, and if it's more of like just kind of grooming to be ready for like when these guys graduate. And obviously he's going to get minutes because he is a good player. He's good enough to be a Xavier basketball player, but it's going to be tough for him this year for sure. It's going to definitely test him as a player and a person.
Yeah, you're right. And he's like the anti-Dalen, whereas like Dalen, like you said, can guard 1 through 4. He's long. He can easily play the 4, can play the 3, can play the 2. Right. Like Trey can really only play the 1 or the 2, and the 2 is even kind of a stretch. Yeah. He ain't playing 3. Oh, and you have a senior point guard.
Right. And I was going to say Davion can easily play 40 minutes. Like he's
like motor, when is Sean is never going to sit Davion.
No. If he doesn't have to.
If Davion doesn't if Davion doesn't need a break, he's playing. Like he'll be like, Davion, get your ass back in there. Like you got your 1 minute of rest, he's one of those guys, like there's one of those players every season, like just get in there. You know what I mean? Like as many minutes as you can possibly play. So, and then 2, it's like you bring in Foster, who's very experienced, 2/3. You bring in Maddox, who's experienced, 2/3. Conwell, a 2/3 probably. Like, so it's gonna be a bottleneck at that 2-3 position. So he's got some work cut, and for him, it's about defense, in my opinion, too. Yeah. Got to be able to defend. We know he can shoot.
I'm having to rethink everything now that I know that Hugley's 6'10". Like when I was watching him play, I thought he was like 6'7", like a 3 swingman because he
Yeah.
was. It seemed like he was playing. I mean, I did see him posting up, but I thought that was like a counterpunch type thing. But I mean, like that's going to be interesting too for. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I do think
There's just so much versatility.
I do think you're onto something there though, because Hunter definitely has the ability to play the 5. I think he already does. I mean, in the Sweet 16 year when if Nunji had to sit, he was playing the 5. So it's like I think he has the ability, and from what we saw, maybe a little bit of ability to play the 3 too. Like,
oh yeah,
it's gonna be interesting,
dude.
man. It's gonna be kind of
a 5/3, kind of like that bank.
Oh my gosh.
You're hurting because TBT's at 5th third this year, Coop. But I appreciate where you're coming from.
I was trying to connect the dots.
You're trying to make
there's something there for you.
Sick on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday,
or whatever day it is that we recorded this.
And another thing that Jerome does too is just defense, dude. Like I'm excited for a defensive lineup that has Dalen and Jerome in it. Like those two dudes are just rim protecting wings, and Jerome's had plenty of time to bulk up. So I'm excited to see what his game looks like when he gets back on the court because he's had plenty of time to add strength. That's for sure. Yeah. But we'll see, man. Yeah. But then again, what you got?
No, you go. If you got something else, I'm gonna. You go ahead.
I was gonna start jumping into favorites for a certain rhymes with slobby.
That's the hard part of all of this. Like we had one friend from last year, Quincy Oliveri, but he's moving on, and we have to replace him as like the Blob Boys' favorite player.
Who's getting the Roll Blob hat this year? Who's getting the Blob?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
now we're asking you a question.
I think that we as a podcast, it's hardest on us than it is the fan base, the coaches, anybody.
Yeah.
It's I think it's hardest on us because we have to make these difficult decisions.
We have it tougher than anyone, Kenny. I mean, we're martyrs, We're just out here just soldiering on for everybody.
Now, I will say, for me, odds-on favorite for the Blobby, got to be Jerome Hunter. He's
hard to pick against Jerome.
His story, everything that he's been through, the fact that he's still coming back and possibly, hopefully everything works out with his Achilles and he's good to go. But even if he comes back and is just a role player on the team or whatever it is, even if he doesn't have a huge role, he's just been through so much and he's made it through a lot of different, transfers and different guys playing and leaving and going to the NBA and just ups and downs. He had you go from a Sweet 16 season to not making the tournament, and in that season you're sitting on the bench. There's nothing you can do about it. That has to be one of the worst feelings ever. And for him to still have that drive and the fire inside of him to want to come back and play next year, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be tough for somebody to break through that for me, but with all the new personalities coming in and all this stuff, it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of cultivate those relationships.
Yeah. I mean, time. A wise man once said, "Time will tell," and it certainly will. I mean, I think as of now, my betting favorite is Dante Maddox because he reposted Roll Blob on his Instagram story, and that's it.
That cannot be over.
Only reason. Yeah,
that's big time. The odds changed quite a bit off of that information.
He must have got the scouting report from Quincy.
Well, I think I know they had talked or something, so I'm like, okay, well, if I can plant a seed somehow and be like, hey, Quincy, tell him about Roll Blob. Obviously, you want it to be after he make sure he likes it here, and then it's like, oh, here's the Roll Blob boys. We don't want to be like some of the first faces he has with Xavier. We want to kind of be like, hey, by the way.
Not yet, at least. Maybe in 5 or 6 years, we're actually doing recruiting visits.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
Imagine they bring us in.
Blob Coin, little NIL collective. That'd be kind of cool. A cryptocurrency.
We should have a Blob ambassador.
Just NIL.
There's the ideas are endless, fellas. The ideas are endless.
Yeah. But also, we have some more Blobbies to announce. Obviously, Quincy is the only one with a physical Blobby right now. They are handcrafted, so they take a little bit of time to get produced. So, Ian and Ahmad, also good afternoon, Ahmad. They will be getting Blobbies for their contributions made towards Roll Blob podcast. So those will be coming soon. Kenny, who won the bracket challenge? I can't remember. They win a Blobby.
They
Yeah,
do.
I mean,
They do.
it's probably someone random, right?
It was somebody random.
Yeah.
They, we put out this thing. We had 69 entries in the Roll Blob bracket challenge, and came down to two. How do we want to say? Two family members of the podcast. We had
The nepotism is real at the Roll Blob.
right. We had Cap's brother and my sister coming down into the final game, or into the final four. If UConn won, Purdue lost. My sister won automatically. If UConn and Purdue win, and then Purdue wins, Drew would have won. And then if UConn and them win, I'm sorry. If Purdue wins, if Purdue wins the championship, then it would have come down to a tiebreaker between my sister, who had 129 points, and Drew, who had 127 points.
Oh my god!
I wanted so bad for Purdue to win and the final score to be 128 points, because then it would have just been a dead nuts tie. Nothing else you can do. We were gonna do a best of 17. Rock, paper, scissors live on stream. It would have been fantastic.
That would have been insane.
As it turns out, UConn was the national championship, right?
That was last year.
Right. Okay.
Last touch, yeah.
We'll
Old
have
news.
to look to see who.
By the way, have we taken our flowers yet for the Big East? Like, have we taken our flowers yet? Let's go.
Yeah,
what a conference.
Yeah, we lost. Xavier lost by 43 to the national champion. So
small number.
How many is that for the Big East Coop? Like, is that like 4 of the last 7?
Oh, so that sounds
something along those lines. I mean, the Big East
2015 was longer ago than it should be, but
and as much as it's hard root for like UConn, like it's so good for the league, dude.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, Kenny's sister wins the Blobby, and we have one more to give away. Yeah. And what better time to do it than right now? Do you guys agree?
I think it's probably.
I don't disagree.
So this was something that as soon as we had the idea for a Blobby, shortly after there was a tweet made, I think back in January.
Yeah.
And I screenshotted it and sent it to the group chat, and we all agreed. Like,
yeah, just to preface where the tweet came from, we had tweeted out that there was some big news coming for the Roll Blob podcast.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch. There was some people that were just like, yeah, right, like saying that our podcast wasn't shit, whatever. But then like you had
podcast,
yeah, but yeah, right. But then you have the guys that are the guys and girls. I should say. I don't want to be called out here.
Thank you.
But you had our supporters that came out, and they had a few different funny ones, but there was one in particular that it kind of tickled all of our funny bones.
Yep.
If you will.
And that was from the Southern Muskie, who tweeted a picture of Sean Miller, and it was a frame from his huddle where he scanned all 10 people's eyes, made eye contact with every single one of them. And it's a displeased look on his face. And he says, Miller, when he sees that the Roll Blob crew obtained media credentials for his press conference. And this was before we announced that we had media credentials. Southern Muskie knew right away and tweeted that out. We all got a laugh out of it. So congrats, Southern Muskie.
For the funniest tweet of the year.
Yes.
For the funniest tweet of the year from Xavier Twitter, according to the Roll Blob boys.
Yes. So the Blobby is yours.
Depending on how south he is, does he have to pay for shipping? Or?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are we talking like South America?
Yeah. If he's in like Chile, then we're gonna have to at least split shipping with him.
Chile.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I will say, his Twitter profile picture, whatever that's called, is pretty cool. It's like the Tennessee state flag. It's like a blue circle, and then it has like stars on it. I think
he does have a cool profile picture.
Stars with 3 X's. It's pretty cool.
He does have a cool profile picture.
So I'm guessing Tennessee. The
Blobby
will be.
So that actually commences all of the picks for the Blobbies in year 1. like I think we've said before, I don't think that it's going to be 5 every year. We're going to kind of give them out to
40.
just right.
Yeah.
Give them out to just different things
Like
that
free
we
candy.
see. Yeah, we just see worthy through the years coming up here. Obviously, I think we'll always continue with the roll blob bracket challenge, and obviously, if you don't have Xavier winning, it's automatically minus 500 points. So we're gonna have to see who's the best bracket with Xavier winning. But no, but for real, I think it's going to be a lot of fun because the categories for this can be endless. Like if there's something funny that happens on TV at a Xavier game, like we see somebody, or if somebody like shouts out "Roll Blob" with a poster at the arena during a Xavier game, or
you
whatever.
can get a Blobby.
Like
Any
I think
time.
right. I think that like that kind of stuff, fan engagement wise, is going to be a lot of fun, and it's also just a way for us to like show that like we notice the people that are hanging out with us and active on Twitter and in the streams and all that stuff. So
there are a lot of people we wanted to give Blobbies to. Like, I mean, it's just hard, man. Like, there's only 5 of them. It feels like if you ever played Mario Party, it feels like the question mark stars.
Yeah, right.
Like when you get to the end of the game,
100%. Because it was just
it's question mark stars.
There was a lot of things that happened over the season that were like, wow, this is really cool, or this is a big step for the Blob, and like all that stuff. And any one of those could have been like, oh, dude, that's got. But like literally right as we talked about making the Blobbies, this tweet came out maybe like a week later, and we're just like, oh, that's 100%. That's a Blobby.
We have to.
Yeah. So congratulations, Southern Muskie, and
good job, my man.
Yeah. Should we even say who we thought it was?
Maybe we'll tell him offline.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. That'll be good.
It was a whole Mandela effect of who we thought made the tweet, and then I went back.
How about in lieu of a Blobby, like we'll all buy him a beer?
Yeah. Right. There you go.
He should get like a free trip to Dana's with the boys and get
for
at least
for
a free
months
beer.
now, we've been saying this is who's going to get it because he had the best tweet. And then today we're getting ready to announce it, and Coop sends us all a screenshot. He's like, "Wow, it wasn't him."
It's like if we had recorded 2 days ago, he would have gotten the Blobby.
He would have gotten the Blobby.
Then we'd been like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
we
adding up.
But
sometimes that's how it goes, man.
Yeah, that'll be
transfer portal, baby, moves quick.
Yeah,
if anybody guesses who we thought it was in the comments of the YouTube, then I don't know what you get, but you'll get something.
You will get a wet beer on me.
No, you know what? We'll get you a T-shirt from the Roll Blob store if you guess who it was.
And Coop might mail it out in like 2026.
One of these days.
No,
but
the other Blobbies are currently being handcrafted. I think you
in our
have,
sweatshop.
Are you like halfway through? You're like halfway through the second one, Coop, right? You have to like chop them off with your axe.
It's the same axe that I used to cut down the trees. I've been chipping away at crystals, and they're Scandinavian crystals, so they're hard to get.
Yeah.
I have to go to jungle gyms to get them.
Decaffeinated coffee crystals.
Crystals is what they call like it's kind of like a White Castle down south. Southern Muskie might have some of those.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Crystals.
Bojangles.
Ooh, Bojangles. Yes, they've got Bojangles up north.
Yeah.
They do now. Yeah, Bojangles is moving. That's a whole different topic for another day. Boys, I think we're getting close to tying up the bow and putting it on this bad boy.
Yeah, we just reached the hour mark. We just reached the hour mark. I think that we
Sorry, Tim.
I think we were kind of figuring that it was going to be about 40 minutes, but
it's funny that you said, Kenny.
This is the first podcast of the year.
You're not wrong.
Kind of
2024 campaign.
The
Let's
Blob
go.
calendar, yeah.
2024, 2025 campaign.
Yeah, that's the only.
It's so funny, Ken, like you're saying, like we could have easily like been happy taking another like month-long break.
Yeah.
And then you open up the dam and it's just like like we just go.
Happy.
Yeah, and then
it's
college
the
baseball
Blobby,
season's
it's the
over.
Blobby New Year. If China gets their own New Year,
thank you.
why can't we have ours?
Yeah.
All right, let's get the calendars printed.
Right?
Yeah. I think
the Blobby calendar starts on April 24th.
Isn't it kind of crazy that at the beginning so at the end of every year, usually our last word of that calendar year is just one. And then the first word of the new year is just happy. So it goes from one happy so I'm going to change it up this year. I'm going to say something like instead of counting down from 10, I think I'll start from 1. And then it's like 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, wait, what happened to last year? I don't know. I'm working on it.
Well, have you seen the thing now? Like, I watch Good on YouTube. These golf guys, and there's a guy on there. He's been on a few of their videos, but he says you should never tell somebody good shot. You should just say shot, right? So
Okay.
you say. I think that what you do is you say 3, 2, 1, and then you just say year. Like,
Year.
we don't know if it's going to be a good year or a happy year. Just year.
You're right.
Year. Why say lot word when few word do trick?
When few word do trick.
Dude.
All right, hey, Cap, Coop, you got the mailbag. That's the first mix up of you guys for the year, just so you know. It happened
3 minutes into the year.
3 minutes.
In
We
in
should
real
keep a count.
time,
Yeah.
it's been 3 weeks since the last. You know.
We should keep a count.
Okay, we'll go through this fast since we're over an hour, but this is a 5, 15, 20 challenge. So you have to pick
Ooh, love these.
5 of one thing, 15 of the other, 20 of the other.
Okay.
So the 3 things are how many hours, so 5, 15, or 20, straight listening to Friday by Rebecca Black in a dark, empty room. Okay. This one's disgusting. Okay. This is the one that I like least out of all of these. Cups. This is from Ian Featherstone, by the way.
Yeah.
And this is
Oh, I
his
know.
wording. Cups of piss you have to drink. Okay, not for health reasons. This is just you have to do it. And then
Just for pleasure.
squirrels, you have to fight with nothing but your hands. So 5, 15, 20. Cap, let's start with you. How many cups?
Oh,
How many
God.
cups of
Okay.
urine are you drinking?
So, I mean, obviously, piss is 5.
Yeah,
Right.
You knew
right.
that's obvious. Unfortunately, I'm going Rebecca Black for the longest amount, and I'm
Yeah.
fighting squirrels for the second. I mean, what a random assortment of things. But yeah, it's 5 piss, 15 fighting squirrels, 20 Rebecca Black.
I'm on the same page. And
I don't-
it if it was like
I disagree wholeheartedly. I'm going.
Wow.
oh no.
I'm going 5 cups of piss. I think that's.
Yeah. It's got nothing
that's
to
a
do with
given.
piss.
See, I was gonna say he was gonna like 20 hours of piss.
Oh no, that definitely not. No, but I think I'm going squirrels for the most. I mean, it's 20 squirrels, dude. You're taking out like 4 squirrels per. Smack.
I think it's 20 hours straight of fighting squirrels.
No, I think it's just how many squirrels.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
actually, yeah, in that case I would take fighting 15 squirrels. I can handle
Oh
5
yeah,
more
yeah, you guys
hours.
are right. See, I thought they were all hours. I thought it was just 20 straight hours of fighting squirrels. I mean, that's a lot of squirrel fighting.
Oh no, I'm going 20 squirrels, 15 hours of whatever that song was.
Friday by Rebecca Black.
I'm sure
And-
that I've heard it, but
Oh yeah.
Got to get down on Friday, Ken.
heard it. But there was no clarification of whose piss, which I mean, I'm still picking 5.
Not all
5
piss is created
regardless.
equal. I mean, I don't care if it's like creme de la creme of piss, but you're right. Not all piss is
maybe
created
it's
equal.
like maybe it's bull piss. You're getting energy
Yeah.
from it. And
Well,
that's how you're gonna
maybe.
fight the squirrels.
Is that what Red Bull's made of?
Should be.
Have they been eating a lot of asparagus or tuna?
I know someone
You would
who
not
has.
want my piss after I'm eating a lot of tuna. I'm just gonna say that.
All right.
So,
I think we should.
on
I
that.
think I'm done talking about piss. If I'm being honest with you, I don't know
Yeah.
where that
What?
question came
Come
from.
on, Kenny.
Yeah, so
Kenny's anti-piss.
Yeah.
let's move on a little farther south on the human body to shoes. Your favorite basketball shoes. Kenny, you played basketball, didn't you?
Did.
What's your favorite basketball shoe?
Man, probably the shoes that I played in college were those KDs with the strap over the strap. I mean, that's probably. I mean, now I can't play in low top shoes
Never
anymore.
low tops.
So I mean, the shoes that I play in now, if I ever play, are some freaking Kyrie's from like 4 years ago. But I mean, I don't really care. I never cared about shoes, so I could play in any shoe. I didn't.
You're the only Xavier basketball player of all time to say that.
Oh no, I took all the shoes. I just did. I only played in. I would take anything that I could get, but then I would just play in one shoe.
That's
Cap,
fair. That is fair.
What's your favorite basketball shoe? As someone who has been called out by a Xavier legend for your terrible shoe game.
Yeah, that's one of the least proud moments of my life. Too Holloway came at my neck for how dirty my Air Forces were, but that's beside the point. If I'm going for fashion, I'm definitely picking some Jordans somewhere in like the 8 to 12 range. I'm a big Jordan guy. If I'm going for function, I'm probably going some like high top LeBrons or high top Kyrie's or something like that. I completely agree with Kenny. If you wear low top shoes. I think you're a psychopath and you're just asking for your ankles to get absolutely torched.
I loved
I don't get it.
low tops in college, but it was just like as I started to get a little bit older, I wore low tops for like a practice in a year. I I was leaving a team in Turkey to go back to a team in Germany, and I didn't have any of my stuff. I was on vacation with my family in Rome, and I went from Rome, flew to Dusseldorf. They picked me up and took me to the city that I was playing in, and I didn't have any shoes, so I had to wear one of the guys that was there already. He wore the same size as me, and he had low top shoes, and I literally went out for like half a drill, twisted my ankle, and I was like, I'm not practicing until you guys get me high top shoes because I'm gonna get hurt. And I just I just went and sat on the bench. I was like, you guys give me some shoes and I'll practice.
They're a nightmare.
I can't.
Coop, you're clearly a hooper from our film last season.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenny obviously wanted none of the smoke. You didn't know what you got yourself into, Kenny. I mean, 2 minutes into that game, you're like, oh,
A
man.
defensive nightmare, dude. I fouled him, put him on the line for a 1-and-1, and he bricked one.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's best call. That's what you should
Strategy, hack a shack, baby. Do you have a favorite pair of basketball shoes there, Coop?
I like any of the SpongeBob Kyries. They have some cool ones. Some look like SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs,
Squidward.
Squidward.
Gary.
Yeah, they're all cool. But if it's for like fashion, Jordan 1s or Jordan 4s, I would say the band 1s or the UNC 4s. The white Oreo 4s are cool.
Old
Yeah.
I
Converses.
didn't even give you guys my fashion choice. If I was going for
Crocs.
fashion, I would pull out either a nice pair of Crocs or some ASIC running shoes.
ASIC running shoes with the Bombas.
Now that's a good look right there.
ASIC running shoes with the Bomba socks, baby.
Some Mo Bombas.
Now we're talking.
Okay, so now choose from one of the below. This is for money. One layup attempt, and I'm assuming you have to make it, not just attempt it.
Yeah.
So one layup attempt for $250. One free throw attempt, make it for $500. Make a 3-pointer for $2,500, or you get 2 half court attempts and you make one for 10 grand. For me, I'm shooting a 3 and making $2,500.
I'm definitely shooting from half court. I can tell you right now, I can probably shoot. I would say around like 25% from the 3-point or from the half court line. I'm taking that. I'm making 2 out of 10. Two to 3 out of 10 from half court. I'm definitely taking the half court for 2 times. Are you kidding me?
All right, you made it.
Kenny,
On
this
your
just goes to show. Remember the stream? How different we were, like with like your money, like how quickly it went up. I'm like, cash out, cash out, cash out.
You're going.
I
with
am
the
cashing
layup?
out. I'm cashing out for an easy 250. And I'm drinking good and eating good all weekend. Like
There you go.
that's
All right.
easy money, guaranteed money, and I'm not paying for shit all weekend. I'm gonna eat and drink real good, real good.
All right. With that $250, you could buy a video game, which leads us to number 4. What was your favorite video game growing up?
This is a question. Kenny, you want to start on this one?
I need a minute to think.
All right, I'll start. SSX tricky. Next question. But I also love me some sports games, NFL Street, any like old Madden, like Madden 05 was a freaking banger. Like, oh, sports video games, Kenny, when we were growing up, were just creme de la creme. I'm also a big Super Mario Galaxy fan. Great game. So SSX Tricky is the first one that pops off to mind. That game is absolutely epic.
Sound
And
like one of those rappers. Like, oh yeah, this new mixtape by SSX Tricky. Yeah, exactly. Ooh.
Ooh.
Mine would be, while Kenny ponders a little bit more. I had a Game Boy whenever I was a child. It was a bribe for getting a surgery done. I woke up, had a Game Boy, and I
Did they
played
tell
Mario.
you to get the Game Boy for the surgery, or did you just wake up to a Game Boy?
I woke up and they were pushing me in a wheelchair, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And they handed me a navy blue Game Boy, and
Good color.
I've started playing Mario, just whatever a Mario game was on the Game Boy. And then I had this Spider-Man game when I was like 6 on the PS2. That was fun. And then all the Madden games pretty much. And then yeah, now I have ADHD.
I thought Coop was gonna hit us with like
Not play 'em.
Roller Coaster Tycoon or something like that.
Oh my god, dude! I went to my buddy's house once, like my 5th grade best friend, and he's like, "Let's play video games." And he had that, yeah, like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Then there was like a whole theme park video game, and it just never ended. It's like, oh yeah, today I'm raising the price on concessions. Like how the, and then you could go
$40.
talk to like guests and stuff, and I'm like, man. And so we weren't friends very long. He ended up, never mind. I can't say it on
You
camera,
just weren't
but
friends with him because you didn't believe in like his like business practices.
no, it was just a roller coaster of emotions. I couldn't do it.
He was
Respect
hiking the
that.
prices up on the single moms. You couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, it was a disgusting act.
Gross. Just gross.
Man, this is video games are a huge part of my life. I guess I would need you to specify when you say growing up. Are you saying like when I was a little kid, when I was like, middle school, when I was?
I would
in
say
high school?
pre-10, like when you're in the single digits.
I was thinking like before you're a teenager. That's what I was thinking.
So I'm probably going with Mario 64, 007,
Yes, sir.
Super Smash Brothers, Star Fox, freaking Mortal Kombat on the Sega. I don't know if I can give you like a guarantee. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, all of the Marios for NES, like it was such a big part of like my life and my cousins and my friends. We played video games all the time. Like that was, we would go to my grandma's house and she had a NES system and she had a Nintendo 64, and we would just sit there and play. Man, so much, dude. We would play like 007. My cousins would just beat the shit out of me in 007, and then we would switch over and we would play Star Fox, and we would like the Wave Runner game.
Oh yeah,
Like there was
64 is just such a banger of a system, dude.
Like the Donkey Kong
64 is a bop, dude.
It's unbelievable, and like
So good. They even have multiplayer.
there was the Sega Genesis had a game called Vector Man that was really good.
He brought this up multiple times.
Yeah,
I don't know of it, but sounds good.
I love that game. But then I don't know exactly when like Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out. Like those games were incredible. And then you get
Those
into
games are so
you
good.
get into I don't know exactly when the Xbox came out. It would have probably been before I was a teenager, but like that was Halo.
Yeah.
So like, Halo
Yeah.
was insane. Gears of War, like Grand Theft Auto.
Oh.
Like, are you kidding me, dude? There's so many good games. I could never pick. Even now, I could never pick like my favorite game ever. I could give you probably a top 10.
Man.
Yeah, and then the college hoops games. I mean, I was like probably 2005, going to like year 2027 in a Xavier Dynasty, just going forever long, dude. Like, we were so blessed with sports video
How'd
games
they
back
do
in
in
the day.
2024?
Oh, we were loaded, like our 9th championship in a row, like just absolute dynasty.
Sick.
So much fun, dude. We were like, I feel bad for kids now because like sports video games are just such crap, like. And I'm not saying like the gameplay's bad, like the gameplay's fine, but like the microtransactions and then just like the depth.
Yeah.
Like the modes were so deep and so much care that was put into them. Then we had all the alternate games like NFL Street and NBA
and now
Street.
the depth is so different now. Like it's you got to freaking go in and pick like what drill you want to do with your team to raise their synergy by 0.5%, and you're just like, okay, let me just play the game. I don't want to have to worry about this. Because you go up, you play against, like, especially if you play games online, you're going up against guys that are willing, they're like putting calculations into a computer to see what the best algorithm is to, like,
You're screwed.
You're just like, I just want to play a game and have fun. I don't need
Or in 2K, it's like if you don't spend $50 to $100, you're going to be a 60 overall.
Right.
Going to get like you don't spend an extra $100. Like
either that or it's going to take you like 150 hours. To
yeah,
get to level
it's
9.
literally pay to play.
Right.
Like it's
So,
ridiculous.
Al Gore made the internet, and every time I'm hearing algorithm, I'm like, that's got to have something to do with it.
I don't think so.
Al Gore's rhythm.
I don't think he had very much rhythm, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm just thinking like that's got to be had to have like programmed that because we're all like,
One of people think he
Did
had
you
rhythm.
learn that? Did you learn that from South Park?
no, I've just been thinking about it So
They learned it. They learned it from him,
is that in there?
probably.
Oh, Al Gore. There's
A lot of
like
Al
a
Gore
whole
stuff.
there's like a whole season that's dedicated to Al Gore.
Oh, interesting. Anyways, what would this is the final question of mailbag. Thank God. What would your death row meal be?
Gosh, dang it, Ian.
So I know this one.
Okay.
So I am starting it off. Um, actually, I need to think of an appetizer. Okay, yeah, I got it. So as an appetizer, and these are all from different places, so they're gonna have to be, and I want it to be warm. Otherwise, I'd kill myself. Right? It's death row. So, um, I'm starting with some lobster queso dip with some tortilla chips from a restaurant
Sounds
called
good.
Firebirds.
Okay.
Okay, it's delicious. So that's my appetizer. My main dish is a double portion of cappellacci, which is an Italian dish from a restaurant called Soto. That's my main dish. And then for dessert, I would like a butter cake from Mastro Steakhouse, preferably the one in Beverly Hills. And I'm drinking an orange flavored San Pellegrino soda. And then for the dessert beverage, I'm having a Cortadito from Versailles, Miami. And then you
A
can,
dessert beverage.
well, yeah, you can't have the same beverage with your regular food and a dessert. It's
Coop's
different.
at a 5-star death row.
Yeah.
He has. He has.
Yeah.
Dude, like this is pretty easy for me. I think that it
If
would
you
just
say
be like
bacon, man.
no, it would just be like a giant assortment of sushi. Like just any kind of sushi you can think of. That's just I love sushi. Love it. And then,
I
you know
feel
what?
that.
You ask me in like a week, and I'm going to give you a different answer. Like
Yes, yeah.
somebody just asked me like a week ago this question because we were talking about like Instagram videos. Have you guys ever seen those steak sandwiches they make where they like heat up the top of a wheel of cheese and then they like scrape it onto the sandwich?
Ooh, those look so good, dude.
Dude, I was in that moment. I I was like, that would be my death row meal. That's exactly
yeah.
that's exactly what I said. But
It's like, Kenny, what'd you have for dinner? A lot of sushi.
a lot of sushi. No, but yeah, it would probably be sushi for me. I love.
Cap, are you going with chicken of the sea, some microwave tuna, and a bell pepper? And
Yeah,
a-
I'm going just give me a can opener and a bunch of cans of tuna, a microwave, and I'm a happy
No,
camper.
you're not allowed to have the cans of tuna. They're gonna have to open them for you.
Oh, hell yeah. See, that's a good meal right there.
The tops are like weapons, right?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right about that. They wouldn't trust me. This is going to sound crazy, but like Kenny said, in this moment, I'm feeling like a fire-ass chicken parm and just like 20 beers. I'm just going to get fucking blitzed. And then maybe like a fat like lava cake or like a chocolate creme brulee or something like that. And just,
No, you know what?
go out and
I don't think you're allowed to drink before the lethal injection though, because it can have adverse effects.
Now, I wonder. I would like to talk to someone who
That's true,
survived
actually.
like a lethal like getting put to sleep. Because what happens if you just take a really long time to eat? It's like, okay, this is my meal, but it's gonna take
I'm
like
not done.
a few weeks.
Yeah, you just want
You
like
get like mac and cheese. You
you
eat like
just
one
want,
noodle
like,
every
a-
like an hour.
yeah. I was gonna say you just get like a giant thing of rice and you eat it one piece at a time. Like
Yeah.
you probably would never get full. You know,
No.
Yeah.
just eat for like I don't know 60 hours and you're just eating one piece for every bite.
You would definitely not get full.
Yeah, I would just would like to know when the guards or whoever's in charge is like, hey,
You're all
man,
right.
like you're done.
Chop,
It's
chop.
time to die.
Like I'm not done eating. Like let me finish my meal.
Yeah, this is
So, Coop, you said you were going to ask someone.
that
Who's done
survived
that?
it. That survived.
Oh,
it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like I don't
Okay.
know if anyone listening
I
knows
mean, if
someone who.
they live through it, they just try again, right?
No, I think that's double jeopardy, isn't it? Don't they get to like?
That's
Isn't that
exactly
what
what
that-
Double
I
Jeopardy
don't
is.
think so. I don't think so.
That's exactly what Double Jeopardy is.
I don't know. It seems like no. It seems like if they try it, then it's like I don't know. We're not. That just seems wrong to do it again. I feel like you
Yep, you're
should,
good.
That's
Be like, hey,
double
man.
jeopardy, boys.
'Cause-
Double Jeopardy.
because then it's just attempted murder from the.
We should just ended the podcast on Double Jeopardy.
yeah, right.
Hey,
It's
double. Double means two. Kenny has two words for us.
Yeah, I do after an hour and 25 minutes. Stay blobbing.